Okay, it's another Aerosmith week. Yeah, I love my music in the beginning of my show. Welcome back, everybody. It's Motivational Monday. It's another Real Life Chats with Kim. Oh, I've got a really neat special person. I got a great guest today. But before we move forward and start bringing our really Sheila, I refer you as like the Spitfire Ever Ready Bunny. It's your personality, it's your energy, the Spitfire Ever Ready Bunny. Anyways.
Oh, Kim.
Yes, but you are. You're just like, you're just my little Spitfire Ever Little Ready Bunny. You're just this petite little Ever Ready Bunny. Anyways, all right, welcome back to another Real Life Chats with Kim. We're broadcasting live at boldradiostation.com. Big shout out to the team. They bust butts to get these shows up and out the door. I hope my team knows that I fully respect them, fully appreciate them, and I love them all. I just hope they know that. They're amazing. A few things, though. We've got some really neat, cool, exciting things going on. Bold Radio Station is a media sponsor for calling all female entrepreneurs Power Up on May 12th. A week from Thursday in Rochester, New York from 9 to 5. Actually, my guest, Sheila, is the host. Sheila Kennedy is the host. We'll talk a little bit more about it. But just come on, ladies, female entrepreneurs. Come on. And you don't need to live in Rochester, New York. Get in your cars, drive, and come on down to the event. I will be speaking. Sheila Kennedy is hosting. I'm not the only one speaking. Oh my gosh, she's got some dynamic, phenomenal speakers. She's got a great premier sponsor, Lisa Powers. Bold Radio Station is a media sponsor. And you will learn strengths, values, and how to show up in your business. The crucial elements of power that build your platform and your profits. And if you're sitting there listening to me and going, "Yeah, I've been in business for many years. I'm good." No. We never stop growing. We never stop evolving. We always need tweaking, maybe large tweaks, small tweaks. For an example, I'm in the midst of rebranding just a bit and doing some tweaks with Kim B. Smith, the other part of my business. So we always need that, no matter how long we've been in business. So stop on by May 12th in Rochester, New York. I will have Sheila give the link. I will have her give the link when I bring her on out where you can go to get your tickets and everything like that. I'll give Sheila the honors. A couple other things. We have 2 new shows this week launching at Bold Radio. One of them is my second show. I will be co-hosting. This is the special news announcement. I will announce this right here and now. I will be co-hosting with Scott Doucette, a brilliant young man. I'm excited. He's just, I respect him being so young, very smart, really cool dude. We are going to really get controversial and press the envelopes, the buttons, and the environment, so to speak, on so many different topics. We're just going to cut loose and have some fun. And then we have a new host, Ann Miner, starting her show this week. It's leadership for women, and that is this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please stop by the boldradiostation.com, the website. Thumbs up, like us, listen to some shows, take a look at, we are building our advertisers, that will get more verbal with our advertisers. It's a slowly but surely build, but we got a couple on there now. And we just have a lot of fun things going on. All right, enough of that. Woohoo! Sheila Kennedy, come on down, girlfriend.
Well, thank you, Kim. It's so great to be here. I love spending time with you.
I know. I like playing. I can't wait to play with you in person a week from Thursday. I know. I can't believe it's so coming
exciting.
Up. I know, it really is. So everybody out there that is listening, Sheila Kennedy is, I call her the CEO, the founder, the director, the developer. She is everything of Zebra Inc. So Sheila, if you would take a moment here and just, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, sure. I have been an entrepreneur for quite a while. At least it feels that way. And I've done a lot of, I've done a lot of evolving. You know, I've done a lot of different things, and but this seems, you know, the Zebra Inc. is actually a culmination of all of those things put together, and really feels like home. And it feels really natural. And what we do at the Zebra Inc. is I actually lead a team of people who are opening the doors of opportunity for authors and speakers and entrepreneurs that want to build their platform and absolutely want to build their profits. So we do that in a variety of ways, but three of the main ways that we do that is through publishing. So there's a publishing label, and a full service publishing, you know, house, if you will. And then marketing. You know, there's so many that are struggling with the marketing of their books, of their platforms. They really need some help. They need a fresh set of eyes. And so we have a, you know, marketing department that does that as well. And then one of my favorite parts of this is events. And I surely host tons of events. You know, I've hosted hundreds over the last 20 years. But I really love that part of it, having live events, but I also, the other half of that is scheduling or helping these authors and speakers create their own events, where they have people that attend, they have people that are excited about it, they get their word out there, and they're really, you know, making the change for people that they're desiring. So that's a little bit about what Zebra Inc. does.
You know, I've been... you know, I was thinking, you know, Sheila, I IM'd you this morning, said I had a dream about you, you know, and I probably because you were, you know, the night before, my guests are on my mind when I go to bed. And, you know, and I was thinking last night, and also thinking as I was driving home before the show from my previous appointment, going, you know, how do I put into words? Because I've known you now for quite some time, and I've watched you go from this amazing confident coach. I mean, you know, you were, when I met you, you were the confident coach. And, you know, and before I started having any conversations with you, this confident coach, I thought it was, okay, she works with people to help them build their confidence. Okay. And, you know, and so many people out there are like, you know, bah humbug. I don't need to build my confidence, which is a bunch of BS. Let's just say it's a bunch of bullshit, because our confidence is like a muscle. Some days it's weaker than the others, like a bicep. You know, some days you're like, you know, a workout. Oh my God, I'm much stronger at this workout. Oh God, today I'm not on my game with my workout. It's the same thing with confidence. It has a Richter scale, goes up and down and beep, 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 and you know. And so, but when I had a conversation with you, you were showcasing the marketing end of it, which gives the entrepreneurs the confidence. And I sat back and went, wow, okay. And then I got to know you more and more and more. So what my point here is, when I was driving today, it's like, how can I put all this in a word, as opposed to just the same, no offense, cliche of, you know, I've watched you bird this. I've watched you go from, you know, being this confident coach that was dealing with confidence yourself. And trust me, we all do, you know, like I said, we have better days than others. Life is life. To launch this second phenomenal book, Choices to Changes, which we're going to talk about that in a minute here. And when you did that book and came to me a year and a half, almost a year and a half ago, a year ago this past January, and asked if I would be in it, and of course, I think that was the lock that we put in the key between you and I when you asked me, which was very honorable to be in it. I think that's, from that point forward, our relationship really flourished. And that's where I really got to see Sheila Kennedy really evolve. And then I really got to see how you launched your book and marketed the hell up out of it. And then launched Zebra Inc., which is, you know, the full service publishing company, and the marketing, and then the events. So I mean, you may. I'm never a loss for words, as you know, Sheila. So it's I've got like all this emotion in me, and I want to open it out, because I've watched this, and it's been amazing. It's been cool. This is if I could just place everybody on radio to see Sheila, so you don't have to go to Facebook or our website to see her because this is free. This is a true, transparent, authentic, real life entrepreneur. This is the journey of an entrepreneur equals definition Sheila Kennedy. So I guess maybe those are my words.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Kim. And I don't know how else. I do know how else I could be. And I didn't like that person, and that almost, I was one of those people that was very caught up in appearances, and I was very much caught up in the perfection trap. And I got to a point where I almost lost my life because that was more important. The outward appearance that things were okay was more important than taking care of myself and my family. And so I know what's at stake when you're not honest. And I don't ever want to go back there. Like, nothing I could say is as bad as what I let things get to be at that point in my life. So, if I lose followers, if I lose, if people get annoyed with me, if people are like, oh, that's dirty laundry, put it in, it's back in the closet, okay, that's great, fine, that's fine. But, I try to be as honest as I can because I think that there's such a misperception in the marketplace that we are expected to have perfection as part of who we are as entrepreneurs. And that's absolutely not true. I think there's a lot more struggling that goes on that people are willing to admit to. And who does that hurt? Really, who does that hurt? And because I'm spending so much energy pretending that I'm something I'm not, imagine what I could do if I put that energy into really building something that's amazing. That's where that's the space I want to be in. Not the hiding and the pretending and you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you the answer, and it's not always going to be pretty. I've made 1,000,010 mistakes, but I've learned from every one of them, and that's one of the things that I love about my platform is that I share what I learn. And yes, I was a confidence coach because I didn't have any. I was in a space where I didn't have enough confidence. I didn't have self-esteem. I didn't know how to show up as an entrepreneur. I didn't. And so I learned how to do that, and I figured it out, and I wrote a book about that called You Had It All Along, and that was my first book. And that was great. That was fun. And I wrote it because I knew that I couldn't be the only one struggling with this. Like, I was pretty sure that if I was, that there were other people. And so that just in case, here's a guide for you to be able to build your own. Well, after that book came out, and, I expected, I was under the expectation because, it did well. It was a #1 international bestseller on Amazon. Yay, team. Okay.
Yay.
Right? And so I thought that was going to completely transform my business, that I was going to be this overnight sensation, and that I know, right? And that, I was going to have thousands and thousands of books sold, and I was going to be this amazing, everybody's going to flock to me, and this is going to be awesome, and this is all I was going to have to do. And that I was going to, drink that Kool-Aid and be the sensation that I was watching happen in the marketplace for other people. And guess what, Kim? That's not what happened.
No.
Not at all.
No.
And so I, for years, struggled with, okay, first of all, the disappointment and the despair at times that, oh, crap, this meant nothing. Okay, this hasn't gotten me anywhere. I've gotten a couple of new clients, but not really, and I'm doing a little bit, but not as much as I thought. And part of it was because I did not have a platform to stand on. I didn't know what I was really bringing to the marketplace. I didn't know where my strengths really were. And I was so happy that I believed I was worthy of being in the marketplace that I thought that was enough. And there was so much more I needed to learn. And so I really believed that confident entrepreneurship is a thing, is something that is worthy of being practiced. And so I set out last December or 2 Decembers ago, 2014, I set out to write a new book about confident entrepreneurship. And I had a very telling conversation with my brother, and he hates for me to tell this story because he's like, I sound like such a jerk. And I was like, well, you were, but you weren't at the same time. I'm very grateful. But he told me I told him I was going to write this book about confident entrepreneurship. And he said, you can't write that book. And I was like, what do you mean I can't write that book? And he said, you can't write that book because you don't make enough money. People are not going to pay attention. And I was like, whoa. Since when does financial security or financial, abundance equate to confidence? And so I was taking that in, and there was no way I was not going to write the book. I mean, the worst thing anybody could ever tell me is not to do something, because then I'm going to do it. So I was like, okay, but how do I tell this story? Even though the people that wouldn't buy it because I didn't make enough money, they aren't my target market, and they weren't who I was writing the book for. Because I understood the relationship that he was talking about, that if I was truly a confident entrepreneur, I would be making more money, and I wouldn't need to, that I would have a different income level. And I got that. I understood what he was saying. And I didn't have that. So how else could I tell the story? So I interviewed entrepreneurs that I believed exhibited the traits of confident entrepreneurship and were successful in making the money and doing the thing, right? Okay. So that's how Choices to Changes came to be, is that I needed to learn how to build the business. I needed to learn how to step up and gain more visibility. I needed to know how to grow financially. And so I talked to people who are really doing that, and they shared with me their best practices, and I put those all together. And that's, when I asked you, there's such an important piece of this about why we do what we do. And you have such a compelling why, Kim. And that's why I asked you to share that story with us, because it's so important, and what you bring to the table, that passion for having your voice heard, is so strong in you, and it comes through in everything you do, that I absolutely wanted to showcase you and have that be part of the tale of confident entrepreneurship. That's one of the things you have to have, that strong why. And so I wrote the book, and I learned an awful lot, and writing that book was very interesting because it was definitely a labor of love. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
And I didn't have, again, total transparency. I've marketed this book on this concept, and, there's not very many people that will tell you that their life fell apart in the middle of all of this, that they blew it financially, that they've done, not the greatest things, but it gives testimony to why it's so important. The things in this book are so important. I did an experiment. I needed to raise money to publish the book. And so I could have crowdsourced, I could have taken out a loan, I could have done a whole lot of things. But I decided that I was sitting on a gold mine of information. All of you shared so much with me, and I knew that this was working. I mean, there are people in the book that are making $400 million a year, have sold $2 billion worth of products on Home Shopping Network. I mean, we're not talking about slouches here.
Yes.
And so, I decided that I was going to put into practice. So if I have the keys to success, I'm going to start opening the doors. And I did that. And for 60 days, I implemented all of the things that everybody shared with me. And in that 60 days, I tripled my income. I was attracting my ideal clients. I was getting speaking engagements. So I was doing all of the things that I wanted, and it was working. And, there was probably a combination of things that happened after that 60 days. I got cocky. I was like, damn, I did it. And, like, see, there's something to this. And I knew that there was, and, I proved it, and awesome. So there's a little bit of cockiness there, and I fully, will admit that was part of it. I was also a little bit lazy because, there were things that I had to do every day vigilantly.
Yep.
Like, there's just some things that you need to have that need to become a daily practice. And I was like, shoot, I did that. I don't need to keep doing it. Well, wrong answer. And the other thing is I was busy. I was seeing all these new clients. I was serving them. It was awesome. And I was going to speaking engagements. I was doing all the things. So, that combination of three things, and there was also a lot of shame that got brought to the surface because, some of the speaking engagements I was telling some of my past story, my abuse story and things like that. And all of a sudden, all of that trauma from before had come to the forefront and life happened. And I was like, who am I? I got stuck in that rabbit hole. Who am I to be out here thinking I can do this? And so that combination of things, I stopped seeing new clients. I stopped attracting people. I stopped believing that I could. I stopped speaking. I stopped, and I sat for months. And I was just like, I'm not even putting this book out. I'm not even going to write this book because who am I to do this? And I was in, all the money I had made, I had to live off of, and I was, in the hole, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's easier for me to tell these people that I was going to write about, that I'm not going to write the book, than to try and put this book out there. And then, of course, I woke up one day, and I was like, are you really? Look at all the work that you've put in. You proved that this is true. How can you not share what you've learned with the world? How can you not do that? And so I put it all together again, and I started the Daily Magnet again, and I started practicing like a confident entrepreneur, and I raised some money, and I put the book out, and it was released last December. And so, that is, it worked. In 8 months, I proved that there is something to this confident entrepreneurship, and part of that is being authentic about it, and part of it is trusting that you're going to be supported even when you don't know how. And I had no idea how I was going to raise the money, but somehow I did.
Isn't that amazing how we have no idea we're going to do something and somehow, we do it. We do it. I'm going to jump in really quick. It's so interesting. I just want to clarify. I mean, Sheila, it's amazing. We cannot buy entrepreneurship. And what I mean by that, and, this all comes, what I stand for as far as the power of voice, because we have multiple voices. We've got that hag bitch in the attic going on. We've got internal voices, external voices. We've got people's voices, our own I mean, there's so many voices going on out there. Such a dynamic energetic vibration, our voice. But, we can't buy entrepreneurship. So, a lot of people feel that I come across as, when I make six figures, when I make this amount of money, I will be successful. And I'm like, well, no, not really. That's not how that works. We can't buy authenticity. We just either are or we're not. We cannot buy spirituality. We either, it's part of our belief systems and that's part of our being, or we are not. There's just, so much going on there, and I'm jumping in because choices to changes, and I'd say this no matter what, whether I was in it or not. It's like a night night table, your side table to your bed type book. It's like a Bible. It's like a Bible. It's a go-to. Oh God! And I'm bringing my book, by the way, next week, because you are going to sign this. And you wait till you see my book. Pages are folded, highlighted. It's just in an amazing book. And now that I've read the book, I use the book now where I sit down in the morning and I feel into, after I meditate, I feel into what I personally feel I need for that moment. Whether it's my, angel cards, or whether it's I need to grab a book. The Choices to Change is the kind of book now that I've read it, I just open it up. And whatever that page is, that's what I feel I need, that the universe is delivering in that moment. It's that type of book. I mean, there were so many.
Kim, thank you.
Yeah, it's not even just messages about growing to become this amazing entrepreneur, and it is. But there's so many other underlying or forefront nuggets in that book. Yeah. It was amazing. And you walk your talk. You crack me up. You walk your talk. You are so funny. And it's like, yeah, I'm trying to learn to be more productive in the day and not just chasing my time. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You get so much done. Well, I mean, and that's a very good point, because I say it about myself too. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for tweaking. There's always room to up level something that we have been using that, maybe works 80% of the time, but let's try something else to make it work 90, make it 90% more efficient or better. But that's what I love about you, among a thousand different other things as well. But I sat back and watched you with the second book of yours. I sat back. I didn't sit back and not support you, but I sat back and watched your process.
Thank you.
You deserve what you have being delivered to you. You've worked very hard. It doesn't surprise me that Zebra Inc. was birthed after this book, because of what you go through, what you've done, what you have experienced. And you're right, Sheila. So many people out there write a book and then they sit back and go, okay, now I'm going to be successful. Bah, ha, 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 ha. I have a radio show. Now I'm going to be successful. Well, bah, ha, 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 ha.
Right. It's so true. Well, and that's the thing. I'll be the first one to admit Zebra Inc. surprised me. And not because I don't know that I can articulate why. But here's my thinking, is that when I became the confidence coach, and as I put out, you had it all along, and I spent that year kind of just struggling and wavering between what I wanted to do and what I was good at. And, I didn't want to, I'm not the person that is, going to help you build your self-esteem. And, that wasn't what I was about. What I was really doing with my clients is I was working with entrepreneurs who needed to be confident in their messaging, who needed to be confident in their connections and their relationships, and building those right connections, if you will, and introducing them to the people that they needed that would help them further their career or their entrepreneurship. It was about being confident in their marketing, so that they knew that they had a content calendar, that they knew that they were where they were going, and that there was a purpose and there was a strategy. And it was about building them a platform. And when I was writing Choices to Changes, I will be the very first one to admit that I was I was starstruck by the entrepreneurs that said yes to being in the book, because they were so successful, and all of you have been or have been successful, and that kind of thing. And I knew, I was strategic in that I chose people who had platforms, who had audiences, because I thought, surely that the collaboration piece of this, and as we're promoting the book, and it's going to help, and it's going to, but what I realized is that as the book was coming out, and as, it didn't quite work out like I thought it was going to. And, everybody has their own platform, but that's exactly it. They have their own platform. I was not a guest, I could be a guest on it, but it wasn't my platform. Mm-hmm. And I realized that I was missing the boat, because I wasn't building my own. I was trying to, latch on to other people's, and I really needed to concentrate on my platform.
Yes.
And that's what I see in so many authors and speakers and, entrepreneurs, radio show hosts, that kind of thing. They don't understand the nature of how important their own platform is. And it doesn't mean 5,000, 15,000, 5 million followers. Yes. It's qualified people who buy into what you're doing and will promote you and share what you're doing because they believe in it. Yes. And that is, that can be 10 people, but they can be 10 kick-ass people. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you have to build those. You have to have the elements of certain elements of entrepreneurship that need to be in place in order for that platform to grow.
Yes.
And so that's what the Zebra Inc. is. One of the best ways to build a platform is to publish a book. So shoot, let's do that. And I don't have to do all of the pieces. I've got amazing team members that have hundreds of years of experience in their respective fields that are on my team, that are going to put out these kick-ass books. So it doesn't have to be, it's not necessarily I'm not doing 8 million things. I'm directing, and that's why, as the executive director, I am taking in people, looking at their platforms, what needs to be done, how we can, and then strategizing with that author, entrepreneur, whoever, speaker, and deciding, okay, what's the best way we can build your platform? Is that through publishing books? Is that through getting you speaking engagements? Is that getting you radio interviews? Is that, what does that look like? What does your marketing need to look like? And how can we help promote you so that you can really do the things that you wanted to do, but haven't been able to because you haven't understood or haven't been able to pull together the platform building piece.
You know something, Sheila? Here, my attitude is, damn it, everybody. If you're going to put that kind of work into writing a book, now I've participated in anthologies, but I think being a solo author is far more intense than participating in an anthology. But not to minimize either one, but if you're going to put all that work into your book, and and that's your dream to write a book. Don't just stop at the day of the launch of the book. It's the same thing. I tell my hosts, if you're going to put all that work into your radio show and, getting your guests and, everything that we do, getting all set up and, having the team all in place, don't just let it go, and it doesn't, the radio show does not do the walking for. It's a platform. The book doesn't do the walking for us. It's a platform. It's social media. They're platforms, it's don't just write the book and then sit there. Don't just host a radio show and then just sit there. And by the way, those are two. I'm a firm believer. I'm more of a talker than I am of a writer, but I'm a firm believer for both platforms for entrepreneurs. Both, they're intense marketing platforms, but you have to work them. You have to work and you have to be prepared to work them, period.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And, I think that's one of the biggest platforms, if you will, or messages from the Zebra Inc. is that we talk about sustainable visibility. And that requires consistent action. And it's not a big secret. You talk to anybody who's making millions of dollars anywhere, they're going to say you got to do it every day. You've got to do the stuff. You got to work. It doesn't come because you're cute. It doesn't come because you want it. It doesn't come because you're sitting there manifesting and saying, okay, I want to make 6 figures today. I want to make, it doesn't show up on your lap. You got to go out and get it. You got to work it. And, but there's elements to that, consistent action that need to be in place. And that's what that sustainable visibility is all about, whether you are, whatever your medium is. And if you don't have those elements in mind, if you don't have that organization, I call it the sweet spot, your mindset is right, your infrastructure is right, nothing worse than turning up the water faucet for your business and knowing that it's going to collapse because you can't handle the influx of new business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes, that infrastructure, you got to have that infrastructure set in place because and I think that's one of the key to prevent burnout in a business is is having that infrastructure set in place. Okay, before we move any further, please tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
Okay. You can actually visit www.thezebrainc.com. It will take you to, the site holder, if you will. But all of the information is there. I'm really excited to still have, some tweaks and updates as the rebranding is taking place. So be patient with me, but it is up and, there's plenty of places. There's contact information, book me information. You'll find all kinds of good information out there. I have a Blab interview series where I am interviewing stellar, confident entrepreneurs like Kim Boudreaux Smith, and the link is there on the website so that you get to really get raw with these risk takers, because that's really important as we're going forth as entrepreneurs, that we have examples. I think that there's so many of us that are feeling so alone, and that the struggle is ours and ours by ourselves. And that is so not true. We all have these issues. Every single person that feels like they're an overnight success or appears to look like they're an overnight success has had years of heartache and struggle and challenge and trial and all of that has led to their now success.
Yes.
And so I want to hold up these successful entrepreneurs to say, share with us how you started, because we need to know that we're in the right place.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's swing back around to the Power Up event that Bold Radio Station is a media sponsor for. I chose not to say the link. I wanted to give you the honor. You've got this amazing event that you are hosting just a week and a half away on May 12th, Thursday in Rochester, New York. Woohoo!
I know. Well, it's really fun. You can register for that event. There is a Facebook event up, but the website for that is www.confidenceatyourcore.com, whether it's a / or /, I don't know, Power Up. But if you go to confidenceatyourcore.com, there's a link right there on the homepage, and it'll take you to the registration page. And I'm really excited about that event because this is I get to bring some of the entrepreneurs from Choices to Changes into the same room together. And they're going to be sharing these best practices that they shared with me, so that the entrepreneurs that are sitting in the room are not going to just level up their businesses. They're going to power up, and they are going to they're going to be able to build the elements of their platform. They're going to get really clear about who they are as an entrepreneur, how they want to show up, what they're going to do with adversity, because there's lots of adversity in the middle of entrepreneurship, right? And they're going to figure out what they want to say. What does their voice, actually, sharing? And who are they doing this with? What's the community that they're involved in? Mm-hmm. And then we're going to talk about structure pieces. We're going to, and that sounds so unsexy, but it really is so sexy I can't even get over myself, because because the things that they're sharing are going to create an environment, even if it's just a mental environment, for you to go out and do the sexy things that you really want to, like, have a life, right? So we're talking about organization and systems and, the balance of feminine and masculine energy and why that's so important and how it's so vital to slow down before we speed up. And Therese Kelly is going to be talking about rewiring our money set point so that we are not stuck at the income level that we are. And, she's going to share some fantastic tools on how we get up and out of that and overcome that so that we can be the earners. We can earn the income that we are really hoping for. So we're covering all that kind of stuff, and we're going to have a Facebook page afterwards that is going to continue to support. I'm thrilled that the speakers for that day have signed on and said, yes, we're going to be a part of this. So that conversation continues, that support, that encouragement, and the networking. Obviously, the networking is vital. So I'm really excited to be able to bring all this together. We've got awesome venue, amazing food all day long,
nice.
Some awesome prizes that people can win, and it's at a price point that you can't, deny. It's just incredible value. So really excited. So visit www.confidenceatyourcore.com //power up. And you can find the event on Facebook. Connect with me there. Twitter, we're on all the platforms. So come find us and let us serve you. So excited for that.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun.
We are.
So ladies, get up off of your tushies and come on. Come on over there, grab your ticket, get in the car, get your flights, whatever. Just get there. We are going to have it's going to be an all day long fun event. All right, Sheila, we'll swing back around here in a couple of minutes to recite where people can get in touch with you for Zebra Inc. and for this event as well. So I've got a couple questions here for you, and it's a hot seat, so you don't get to think about these questions. I want you to jump right on in from your heart.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am.
Yeah, you always are. I know. I think you are. Well, I know. I don't think you. I know you are. So, what we measure determines our success. How do you measure success?
I would have to say that it is really being able to open somebody else's eyes to a new way of thinking, or a new skill, or something that will better their lives.
Oh, that's confidence building right there, girlfriend. I mean, we talk about, you know, this is not someplace we can go to the store and buy confidence or buy self-esteem. Those are tools to help build our muscles of that. I mean, I love that. I love that a lot.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
Sheila, you're welcome. Sheila, what has been the largest challenge to date that you have flipped into an opportunity?
There are so many.
Yes, I hear you.
I'm all about making lemonade. Let me tell you.
With a shot of vodka. I want a lemonade with a shot of vodka.
Exactly. There you go. You know, I probably, wow. I mean, you know, the most important thing is probably, you know, coming from a place of, you know, being in an abusive relationship and stepping up out of that, and then thinking that I could be this entrepreneur on top of that, you know, I mean, when I see what I've accomplished in the last, you know, 4 years, and even though it doesn't feel like I'm as successful as I would like to be, you know, I am far from that person, and I have grown so much. And so I think, and that's how I've grown you know, that is my platform, is sharing, you know, this process. And so I have to say that that's probably the most influential. I will probably, you know, there's other things, you know, things like when my brother said, you know, you can't write the book. I was like, oh, well, okay. So I could have just folded up shop and said, okay, no, I can't do this. Yeah. You're right. You're right. I don't make enough money for them to believe me. So I won't tell it. Yeah. And the writing of this book and that journey over the last year, has been so instrumental in my growth and in what I'm doing and what I'm bringing to the table. And, you know, being able to now look at the opportunity, you know, our first book is being published in 2 weeks, you know, it's going to be on the market in 2 weeks. And to think that to be able to give somebody the power to put their voice out into the world like that, I mean, I know you understand that feeling. But it is off the charts amazing. And to think that I could have chosen at that point to say, no, I'm not going to do this. You're right. Yeah. I'm not what I think I am. Yeah. You know, and to see where I am today, I just, you know, it's incredible. So those two things probably were the most influential.
Yep. And that to me, 1 + 1, what you just said is like the equation 1 + 1 = 2. What you just said equals success.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're
working on it. We're working on it.
Well, it's work in progress every single day. I mean, it is. It's work in progress every single day, and we never reach perfection. So better doesn't make perfect. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes better. Practice is improvement. So how do you continue to push and stretch yourself, to stretch and grow? How do you continue to do that?
Oh, I have this thing in me that I'm very rarely satisfied with the status quo. So if I learn something, it's cool, but then there's always something else to learn. And so I'm my curiosity, I guess. Liz Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, and her book Big Magic, was very influential in that. You know, I am always looking for that, I am following my curiosity instead of my passion, or not that I'm not following my passion. My passion is to, be of service to people and, all that good stuff. And, but, yeah, I don't stay still for very long. Like I'm
Yep.
always thinking, what else can we do? How else can we bring this, build it? And so, that drives me.
Yep. Yep. I love that. I love it. We don't stay still. Just like the
Yeah.
earth rotates from day to night, night to day, we
Mm-hmm.
don't stay still. Have you ever felt like giving up?
Oh, yes. There have been more times than I care to admit, where I've just like, okay, go get a job. You're not making this happen, and you're not, maybe you're not the one that needs to be doing this, and whatever. And it happens a lot. I wish I could say that it didn't. I wish I could say that I had, the utmost faith in everything that I do all the time, but I don't. That's the reality of it. And sometimes things happen, and I go back a couple spaces, but you know what? I get up, I dust myself off, and I keep going, because I know that there's merit to what I have to share.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love it. I love it. And there is merit for what you have to share. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, Miss CEO, Executive Director, Ringleader, all sorts of the stuff is Zebra Inc. And seriously, your business, Sheila, is impeccable. It's amazing. It's still fairly new, but not really. The name is new, and you stepping into it full throttle ahead is just amazing. So how do you begin your day?
Well, I begin my day about 5:00 every morning, and I have devotional time and meditation time. And I actually, I don't know if anybody is familiar with the story of the circle maker, but I actually have a circle of fabric that I step into every day, and I declare my intentions for the day and, how I want revival to happen in my life that day, or ask for it or whatever. So I do that, and I journal every morning. I also complete the daily magnet, and some of that goes on throughout the day. But I begin each journal entry or each, day. And if anybody is curious about this daily magnet, you can also go to confidenceatyourcore.com and you can download it. It is 7 or 8 daily practices that have really, they're the consistent action that have helped me as an entrepreneur. So that is available to them as, free, my gift to you. But I start that, and then that takes about an hour or so, and then I start the rest of my day. I get busy.
I love it. So
Yeah.
you care for yourself first and foremost before you start jumping in. And how do you end your day?
I end my day when I get into bed at night. I'm very big in gratitude. So I recall 3 things that I am very grateful for that happened that day. But I also call to mind at least one thing that caused me joy. And so that the last thing that I'm thinking about before I fall asleep is joy. And I think that's really important. And that, I love the way I end my days.
I love it. I love it. I always like to just crawl into bed and just go and be so grateful. Oh, thank you. It's just, and it's really release. So before we wrap up here, one more time, how can everyone get in touch with you again, please?
Sure. You can come visit me at thezebrainc.com, and you do have the word "the" in there. I have this great relationship with the word "the." So it's thezebrainc.com, and you can email me at, I guess you can email me at publisher@zebrainc.com, and I will be able to answer you there and connect with me. I'm on Facebook and Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, you name it, I'm probably there. So I'd love to be able to connect with you online as well.
Track her down, everybody. Track her down. Okay, one last question before we wrap up the show here. This time flew by way too fast, which I knew it would. So are there any last which you've shared such beautiful golden nuggets. Is there any last thing from your heart, any last insights or anything like that you'd like to render and offer to the listeners?
Oh, thank you. I probably to believe, to trust. The word confidence actually comes from the word confidere, which is a Latin word which means to trust. And so confidence is really about trusting that you will be supported in every moment. And I know that that's true because you're interacting with me in some way, shape, or form today. Mm-hmm. Whether they're listening live or they're listening to the recording, and to really, really put a lot of effort into that trust and to building that trust relationship with the universe, the source, the God, whatever they want to call it. Because when we believe that we're supported, we show up in a very different way.
Yes.
And we are able to take bigger risks, and we are able to grow, and we're able to build better relationships. And that all equates to growing financially and to gaining more visibility in the marketplace. So if there's one thing that I would leave with you is that build that trust muscle, because you are supported. There's no evidence saying that you aren't. It may not have always felt good, and it may not have always been easy, but you've always been supported.
Yep.
And so that's my one thing.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Everybody, please, Sheila, thank you so much. Please reach out to Sheila, track her down, get your ticket for the May 12th event. Track her down on social media, take a walk over to her website, check it on out. And just remember that Zebra Inc. is a full service publishing company. And under all that Zebra Inc., it was just, oh my God, the logo, which is absolutely stunning, Sheila, there's also marketing there and events. And this is Sheila, you are a full one-stop shop, full turn of support for us entrepreneurs, for publishers, for our marketing, for support for events, and, to get our books up and out the door. And once the books are up and out the door, now what? It's like that, now what?
Yeah.
So your company, Zebra Inc., does provide that. It's a beautiful VIP turnkey service. So it's very similar to like what we do here at Bold Radio, but not publishing. Right. It is. And it's like, So, reach out, check it out. If you're thinking about publishing a book, have a conversation with Sheila. And I know you do some customizing as well, correct? For your clients?
Yes, absolutely. I don't want anybody to pay for services that they don't need. And I am all about making sure, because some people might have an editor and they don't need that. Or maybe they have a book cover designer. They don't need that. So it's all about making this work for the author, and really filling their needs. So I don't want to waste anybody's time, energy, or money. And so it's important to me that we make the product or the service work for them. Yep,
I agree. Sheila, thank you so much for
Kim.
for joining me today. May 12th, everybody, is the Power Up event for female entrepreneurs. Grab your ticket, grab your seat, come have some fun. We are the media sponsors, as well as I will be there presenting, speaking, and playing, and having a lot of. So please track Sheila down. I know, I can't wait either.
Kim.
Absolutely. Get out there, make it a great day, Sheila. Everybody go on out there, make it a great day. Get real with yourself, get real with the business, and reach out. You can always find us here over at boldradiostation.com. And until then, I will hear you right back here at the same time, same place next Monday. Make it a great day.
Thanks for joining yet another Real Life Chats with Kim. Come on back next week, same place and time, where the boldest of bolds share their truths.